Astrophysicist Milo Rodrigues is the last man on Earth. In his farewell video, he speaks to a higher intelligence, asking not to forget them. In his opinion, humanity has made many mistakes, but it does not deserve to be forgotten. We then see footage of the horrors that are happening on the planet Earth. Thousands of people are living in poverty and disaster. The events begin in New York in 2016. A boy named Milo, confined to a wheelchair, draws a model airplane. Meanwhile in Missouri, farmer Ricky Stormgren works on his cornfield. At some point, the corn plane just hangs in the air and makes a vertical landing, but Ricky didn't notice it. Communication was lost worldwide. Thousands of people were shocked to see a plane make a smooth landing right in the city. Panic began on the streets. Something strange and frightening started happening in the sky. People around the world witnessed this. It turned out that a giant spaceship had entered the atmosphere. The news reported that all planes, including military fighters, were lowered to Earth without any harm to people or buildings. Ricky heard about this on TV. According to the reporter, communication was beginning to get better. As per the latest reports, there were around 40 alien ships that had landed across the globe. Hugo Wainwright, who owns the most popular newspaper in the country, believes that the visitors pose a real threat. No one knows who they are, where they came from, and what goals they pursue. At some point, all the people began to see their deceased relatives. They spoke with the voice of higher intelligence, which introduced itself as Corellon, the guardian of Earth. Ricky was shocked when his late wife Annabelle said that they had come a long way to Earth. They are here to help humanity. War, hunger, inequality, suffering, and other disasters will soon be a thing of the past. Corellon promised that this would not affect the daily life of people. Only one thing will change: there will be no more injustice in the world. Aliens are not conquerors, so humanity has nothing to fear. Hugo called the visitors the Overlords. People on Earth are trying to make sense of what happened. The radio reported that the world has already begun to change. No one knows why the aliens appeared to them in the form of their beloved deceased relatives. Ricky's bride, Ellie, came home, saying she had seen her late father. The guy lied that he had also seen his father. All wars in the world stopped almost at once. Now people live in peace and harmony, without hatred and disagreements. It seems that these aliens, led by Corellon, are indeed peacemakers. Hugo was one of the few who didn't believe in the benevolent intentions of the Overlords. Milo's mother asks him what he thinks is the weakness of the aliens. The boy believes that they don't want to harm humanity because they have traveled such a long way. Mayor Missouri gave a speech. Some people are outraged that the government has trusted the visitors so quickly and is not taking any additional security measures. Ricky suggests that people accept the new world order since the aliens have done everything to make them comfortable. It doesn't look like a classic invasion. In the evening, all the technology in the Stormgren house began to go crazy. Ricky looked out the window. At some point, the house shook, and bright light flashed behind the door. The spouses hurried to hide. Realizing that there was a spaceship of the aliens near their house, Ricky came out of his hiding place, asking his bride to stay downstairs. Something strange was happening around, the bright light was increasing, and the house began to disintegrate into elements. Ricky came up to the levitating alien spaceship, realizing that they wanted him to go with them. When Ricky agreed, his house immediately took on its former appearance. Despite the fear, Ricky entered the spacecraft, which immediately flew away. The military is on duty day and night under the giant spaceship to restrain the crowd. Meanwhile, Ricky found himself in some strange place, which soon took the form of a hotel room. Once Ricky and Annabelle spent their honeymoon here. Suddenly Corellon's voice was heard, saying that they needed a mediator between the Overlords and Earth whom they could trust. Ricky asked the alien why he created this room and why he sent Annabelle to him. Corellon replied to the guy that he did it because she remained the most important person in his life. The guy wonders why Corellon chose him, as he is not even a politician. The alien explained his choice that Ricky is the person who always knew how to smooth out conflicts. Corellon can communicate with people on equal terms because he has studied all the earthly languages, culture, and history of humanity. Ricky asked the alien to show his true form, but he said that people are not yet ready to accept the truth. Corellon prepared a special gift for his new associate. After some hesitation, Ricky finally took a strange metal vial from the table. The general informed that the president wanted to strike against the visitors, but Paul Danlo thought it was just funny. Obviously, these aliens were a highly advanced race, and humanity couldn't resist them. Journalists found out that the aliens had abducted the farmer last night. Suddenly during the interview, a spaceship appeared in the sky. At that moment, Milo was making blueprints of alien technology. Ricky came out to the assembled people unharmed. The bride hugged him, and the spaceship flew away. Ricky showed Ellie Corellon's gift. But they didn't have time to do anything about it, because almost immediately the Secret Service arrived. At the same time, a desperate woman stood under the huge spaceship with the crying baby in her arms. Paul Danlo told Ricky that he was working in intelligence and intended to take what Corellin had given him. However, Ricky wasn't going to do that because Corellin had entrusted the alien artifact exactly to him. The agents aimed their guns at Ricky, forcing him to give up the artifact. Before handing over the vial, Ricky opened it, and at that moment, the baby in the woman's arms was completely healed. Similar events were happening all over the world. People were being cured of all diseases. Paul realized that it all started with Ricky opening the mysterious vial. As the only one who spoke to the Overlords, Ricky addressed the press, announcing that he was the mediator between the aliens and humanity. Ricky is convinced that the visitors' intentions are purely good. They want to put an end to all suffering on Earth, including environmental problems. Everyone wonders why Corellin doesn't show them his face. Ricky has no answer to that question, nor to many others. Watching the boyfriend's speech on TV, Ellie guessed that it was not really his deceased father who visited him, but someone else. Paul told Ricky that an alien ship had landed on the lawn near the White House. The guy realized it was for him. He met Corellin again and shared his concern about how half the world regarded the visitors as saviors while the other half saw them as enemies. Corellin said it was an expected reaction, but they were not going to deviate from their mission on Earth. Ricky became more at ease talking to his invisible interlocutor. After this meeting, a crowd of journalists surrounded him. Later, Ellie told him that she realized he saw Annabelle, not his father. The woman also told her beloved that she would always be there for him, no matter what. Hugo is trying to unravel the true intentions of the aliens. He is convinced that it is an invasion, no matter how others may call it. Meetings between Ricky and Corellin continued. The guy tried to persuade the alien to show his face to the people, as trust could not be gained without it. But Corellin replied that humans would not accept his true appearance. Later, as usual, Ricky relayed all the words and requests of the Overlords to the public. Hugo talked about groups of people who want to drive the visitors from Earth. Ricky in turn talked about the plans of the Overlords to end hunger on the planet. Saudi Arabia is very unhappy that the Overlords have sealed their oil reserves. However, according to Ricky, all of this is done for the good of humanity. 6 months have passed. The Golden Age has come on Earth. However, not everyone has accepted the patronage of the higher mind. Milo, being a very smart boy, studies any information related to the Overlords. What they do seems like a miracle to him. More and more people join the League of Freedom, which wants to drive aliens from Earth. Ricky shares his concerns with Corellin. He still insists that the alien show his appearance to everyone. Corellin only said that they do not resemble humans. Suspecting that the visitor was hiding behind the mirror, Ricky looked into it. At that moment, we see the alien's creepy hand in the frame. Taking his wheelchair, Milo went to look for the mother and saw her having a confrontation with a dealer who refused to pay her for the sale of substances. The scoundrel slapped the woman and then shot Milo. Screaming, the woman rushed to her son. At that moment, a bright white light flashed, which neutralized the hooligan and brought Milo back to life. The boy realized that he could walk now. He no longer needed a wheelchair. Hugo gives another interview, expressing outrage that the Overlords have fancied themselves as gods. A young activist, Peretta Jones, also appeared on live television, telling how her religious mother voluntarily left life when aliens appeared on Earth and destroyed the concept of God. The woman could not live in a world where there was no place for the Creator and the Bible. Ricky had become the most popular person on Earth. Tonight was one of the few he could spend alone with Ellie. She was sad that her beloved had been distant lately. He is responsible for the world, but to Ellie, Ricky is the world. At night, Ricky realized that someone had intruded on their territory. Later, Ellie couldn't find her boyfriend anywhere, unaware that he had been kidnapped by terrorists from the League of Freedom. In the morning, Ellie went outside, and looking up at the sky, asked Corellin to find Ricky and bring him home. At that time, the guy was brought to Hugo, who said they were deep underground, so no radar would detect them. Hugo intended to pollute the environment with the help of organized resistance and plunge the world into chaos to demonstrate his disobedience to the aliens and defeat them. Hugo didn't suspect that billions of people around the world were watching him and Ricky at that moment. Ricky continued to insist that the Overlords were doing good on Earth, but Hugo disagreed. He believed that it was better for the world to perish under human control than to prosper under alien control. For refusing to join the League of Freedom and become their main speaker, Ricky was supposed to pay with his life, but the bullets froze in air in front of him. Time seemed to stand still for Ricky. Suddenly he saw the door open, behind which Annabelle was waiting for him. Ricky entered the room, not believing what he was seeing, the love of his life again. Ricky realizes that this is only an illusion and asks Corellin not to come to him in the form of Annabelle anymore. Ricky returned home unharmed. He hugged Ellie, wanting to let go of the past. He was also determined to find out what Corellin really looked like. It was time for another meeting. Karelin explained to Ricky that he deliberately allowed the terrorists to kidnap him so that the world could see what human greed is capable of. Now their spirit is broken, and the League of Freedom has been disbanded. Since the first stage was successful, all the states on the planet will soon unite into one. For the umpteenth time, Ricky urges Karelin to show his face to the world, because as long as he hides his true appearance, there will always be people who do not trust him. Karelin said that people need to prepare themselves psychologically for this. It will take several years. Before leaving forever, Ricky managed to take a photo of what was behind the mirror. Now he knows that Karelin was right. People are not ready to see it yet. Ricky's life will continue as usual, and he finally asked Ellie to marry him. Beretta urges the churchgoers not to lose faith. Soon it was reported on the radio that media magnate Hugo Wainwright had voluntarily left life in his office. Milo still can't get used to the fact that he no longer needs a wheelchair. The boy has a goal in life now. He wants to be the first person to visit the homeworld of the Overlords. 15 years have passed. Milo graduated from university and became an astrophysicist. His mother has quit her criminal past. People are anticipating meeting their guardian angels. The world has changed. Paradise now reigns on Earth, but science is dying because people now rely entirely on the Overlords. Today, Karelin will reveal his face to the people of Earth. Everyone is eagerly waiting for this moment. A giant spaceship appeared in the sky and landed before huge public. As Karelin asked, he was greeted by children. Billions of people were horrified to see that the alien had the appearance of a biblical demon. None of these people, except Ricky and Ellie, expected this.